What is up, everybody? I'm excited. We're on the ramp truck. We're almost done. We might even get it fired up in this video, which is what we're gonna try to do. So we basically are at the point of final touch-ups on the chassis. Our goal is to be driving this thing in a few days and trying to work the bugs out of it so that we can make sure that it's ready for Brent and I to finish the deck so that we can do our road trip. So yeah, don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Let's get into it. So what did we get done in the last video? Basically, I'm just gonna show you guys where we're at right now. We got shocks in, all the suspension is done, everything's tight. The correct hardware is in everything. The reason I'm even saying that is because we had to get some longer bolts to make sure that things were locking with washers and kind of all that. The other thing I did was off camera, I just kind of went through and really tried to make all the lines look good and not be touching anything. Like these are gonna be fine for a long time. Like they're not gonna, you know, deteriorate themselves by rubbing. That's the other thing that's been done. Tons of welding has got done. Like, I mean, there was so much welding to do on our thrash weekend that the entire chassis just got so much stronger. So all the suspension is in. Our drive shaft got shortened. It got installed again. The e-brake works. The gas tank is in. The rear suspension is all in. The sway bar's in. Like our airbags are hooked up. Our brake lines are hooked up. Our air lines are hooked up all the way until the solenoid, which hasn't been put on yet. What has to be done for us to be able to drive this truck, which is what we're gonna have to cover in this video, is we've got to put the air system back together. So get the air tank back on, wired up, plumbed in. We have to put the exhaust back on. We have to go through and bleed the brakes. We're gonna have to adjust things. We're gonna have to fill the tank with fuel. We've just got a bunch of stuff to just hammer on to get the thing ready to drive, but it's so close. So let's get started. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to throw the sway bar back together, put that on, then our front suspension is actually totally done. I'm gonna put the air tank on, get the air lines back together, get the wiring put back on, get the clamps for the air tank back together, find new hardware for that, transmission fluid, and sway bar. Okay, so sway bar is in, and Elio's filling up the trans. He's gonna do exhaust next, and I'm gonna work on this air tank. Basically just gotta bolt these arms on, find a couple pieces of hardware for the hinges there. These are just cut pieces of rubber hose. We just cut them. Makes it really easy to fabricate like this, actually. These were very easy to make just because of the way we made them. I'm gonna do that next, throw the air tank on. I do have to build a little bracket to support the valve block itself. A couple people mentioned that in the comments too, that it'll probably rattle and eventually break that weld. I do agree that it'll fatigue over time and it just doesn't have enough support, so we're gonna work on that. So here's the tank, this is the bracket. It's pretty heavy, and it's all riding on just basically that little weld and that little weld. So it hanging off of there with vibration will probably hurt it. So we'll probably build something just from here down to take away any of that vibration, give it a little bit more support. Yeah. We're also gonna take this bracket off and add some isolators so that this isn't just kind of like rattling around. Figured that it probably would also be something that breaks over time. Did not have the right hardware for the clamp itself, so I'm gonna make a couple bolts that are gonna be the right length. These are 3/8 all thread or a ready rod, and I'm just throwing a couple nuts on there, leaving a little bit of a gap so that I can fill it up with some weld. There you got it. There's the ends. Just prepped it with a little bit of Scotch-Brite. Not saying this is what you should be doing for structural things, but it's gonna be fine for our little air tank. Nobody needs to know. There must be some longer ones around, actually. Okay, so this thing is just 1/4-inch bolts holding it on the back side. So what I think I'm gonna do is just make a bracket, basically, that grabs these two outer bolts. Like it'll kind of be like a flange that welds to the tank and then angle up to the back side of this bracket and then flange with a couple of bolt holes. Just something super simple, keep it easy, that will support like the whole weight of this. Because like I said before, just that little thing is probably not enough. We'll just use the fast cut CNC on some maybe like 10 gauge. And how far do we got? We got an inch in. We can probably do a 1 inch flange. Maybe not, maybe like a 3/4 inch flange. We can bend that in the bender. 4 15/16, or a tiny bit under. 4 15/16, 1 inch, and a little flange. By the way, wrench racks are on the website along with air tool racks and the vice grip racks. But anyway, let's make this little bracket. Well, fully didn't realize that I wasn't filming, but I just welded this on and blew a hole in the tank. I suppose I should have checked if there was any pressure in the tank before welding it with a bunch of heat, because yeah, that's what happened. I blew a little hole in it. So I'm just draining the air right now. It's still got a couple pounds in it. And we there. Almost. What a dummy. What a dummy. Elio's just laughing at me. I'm just kidding. Elio would never laugh at me. To my face. Okay, well that's done. So I guess I'm gonna pull this stuff off, spritz it with a little bit of paint, put it back on, call the air system done after I put a few lines on. While the paint was drying, I also changed the pressure switch. We normally do air ride setups and in cars and stuff, and we use those like Viair 480C compressors that if you've ever done an air ride setup, you're familiar with them. Basically, they pump to like 200 PSI, so they make a really small tank seem like a bigger tank because it has more pressure in it. So I originally bought a 200 PSI pressure switch for this, but found out that the York 210 compressor that we're using actually doesn't pump up that high. It only pumps to like 140 is what people are kind of like suggesting, even 120 as a max PSI. The sweet thing about that versus those 480Cs is the volume, the CFM, the amount that it can pump, meaning that it doesn't even need a tank in some scenarios. Like apparently you can run an air tool without a tank off of that compressor. So basically the front of the truck takes about 70 PSI to lift up right now. The back only takes about 4 PSI to lift up, which is crazy. That's just the size of the bag, right? The volume of the bag dictates how much pressure it really needs. Like if you think about it, a bicycle tire that is for like one of those race bikes, the really, really skinny tires, those things are like 80 PSI. They're like very high pressure because of how small they are, right? And like a big tire on a mountain bike or something is probably like a lot less. Works the same with airbags. So like the bigger bag you have, the less pressure you need to lift it. So 60 PSI, those back bags are rated for 16,000 pounds. That gives you an idea. We're at 70 PSI on the front and they're rated for 3,800 pounds. So they're much different bags in the back. They're meant to be loaded in the back. Okay, so we got a bunch of little things done. I'm just trying to, go through everything one by one and make sure that it's done, right? So like we put a little bit of a protector on some of this line just because we know it's near exhaust. All this stuff is finally on and you know, secured everywhere. It's not going to go anywhere now. There's a couple more things I have to hook up still, which I probably should have done before I did this. But I don't mind adding like one extra wire on the outside of some of this stuff just with a zap strap. So basically what I've got, Elio's run a few wires here. One blue one here is going to be going to activate the clutch itself for our compressor. So this is like a York 210 compressor, and it's an air conditioning compressor, so it has an air conditioning clutch on it that just takes a one wire power to engage. So that is coming from a relay that Elio's gonna put on the other side near the fuse box where our fan relay is. And basically that will be activated by our pressure switch, which is there, right there. It'll turn the pump on when the tank goes down to 110 PSI, and it'll shut it off at 140. So I got a couple of wires just to run here. Then I think that we're buttoned up on this side. Then we'll probably have a look at some of the wiring on the other side and extend it all the way back for our taillights. We're gonna need to put taillights on this as well. I've got an idea of what the taillight panel will look like, but I think we're just gonna put just temporary taillights on it. Like, we just want to be able to drive the bugs out of it without, I mean, mud flaps for that instance. Also, we have to put mud flaps on it. But here are the lights. We just got like single reverse, double reds for each side. And I guess I'll just make a bracket or something off of here for that. Because we want to drive this thing. The weekend's coming and the weather's nice, so. So this stuff that I'm using to loom all these wires, it looks kind of like a braided type deal. And I think it looks nice, but it's nice because it's split loom that you can stick it over. You don't have to slip it on. Like, I'm kind of used to this nice loom, but it's not split. So you have to actually build your harness and heat shrink all the joins, and it is beautiful and it looks great. And I used to use it a lot on motorcycles, but this stuff is good too because it's serviceable. You can open it up and you can find your wires and work on it. And then I just use this nice tape. Our buddy Dan, he's like a linesman, electrician type job that he works, so he gets this black tape every once in a while. Anyway, that's how I'm protecting all these wires. I think it looks nice, and it also just protects them from whatever, right? Elio's just like, what do you do with that blue wire? And I was like, oh, I was gonna bring it up to this pump. He's like, but the wire's here, and I was thinking about bringing it up here. I was like, well, that makes way more sense. Thanks for letting me know after I already just did all this. So. Sounds like he knows a lot about it. We're just going to change the rear pads because my brother noticed while we were working on it on the weekend that these rear ones were delaminating. So these brakes are pretty cool because literally there's just this little lock, and I slide that out, the caliper comes off, the brake pads come out, and it's the exact same caliper on the rears as it is on the fronts now, because I actually ordered the wrong part because it's an upgrade to have the dual piston caliper on the front. It's weird. It was only a single piston caliper on the front. Anyway, they gave me the wrong part, so I just changed both calipers in the front already with new pads and new calipers, dual piston calipers, but yeah. Same part number, all four corners. Sorry, buddy. You all right?
Yeah.
We might be buying new calipers, homie. Boots are ripped. New calipers. Back to the store. Okay, so ordered up those calipers. They are on the way. There's a few more little things to do, but basically we are ready to fire right now, and Elio's taking off for the rest of the day, and I'm gonna keep tinkering. I'm gonna wait for these calipers. Gonna try and get a few more things done tonight, I hope. But before Elio goes, we wanna hear first fire with like the new fuel tank, the new fuel system, and just with everything, you know, all the wires being moved and touched and everything being disconnected and reconnected. We just want to hear it go, okay? All right. Put a little 30 ampere in there for the juice. Oh, nice. True.
Sponsored by Gatorade.
Or is it?
It is. I thought it was Powerade for a second.
We're just gonna start doing that. We're gonna tell you guys that we're sponsored by people that totally aren't sponsoring us, and then you will never know.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
I tried to open the vent, but
I would be very sad if it started leaking.
yeah, me too.
Should I drill a hole in there?
No. It'll create sparks. I'm joking.
It'll create sparks. It's a plastic tank, Elio.
I know. I need to find that.
Oh God!
Where did
The cuts on my hand are burning.
Yeah, I'm burning. My whole leg is full of fuel.
Yeah, you got it worse than I did.
Cool.
Okay, that's enough fuel for you.
Is it?
I mean, I don't know. Is it not? You want to keep
I bet you
going?
it doesn't even touch the surface area of the bottom.
Okay. We used to call Elio East Van Rambo, or I used to at least call him East Van Rambo, because he used to ride this panhead chopper with like curly, long, bushy hair down to here with like a red bandana on, and it was just like pretty much the most badass thing I've ever seen in my life. And he's from East Van for the East Van Rambo effect. If anybody wants to do a little bit of digging on like Instagram, like find Elio's account. It's called like Life with a Pepperoni. And if you like scroll back on there, he had this like greasy photo of him on like laying down on top of his 54 Chevy, wearing like a fur coat. And it is like, it was that in a magazine?
No. No, a coworker was like, oh, I really want to do this photo shoot. And like, he just started as a plumber, because I used to be a plumber. And I was like, sure. And then he's like, you got to do this. And I was like, no. And he's like, yes. And then we did a photo shoot.
So fuel pump hooked up.
Pumping fuel.
Pumping fuel. That black wire means nothing. Oh, battery's dead.
Oh, no.
These batteries, I think, are pretty weak. Like, I load tested them the other day, and yeah, they weren't very good. So they've been sitting around for a while. Unfortunately, I would still consider them to be brand new batteries because I didn't really get to use them in a vehicle. Like, you know, they were for the Cadillac hydraulic setup, and we never ended up using them. So we like went fishing with them a couple times and used them on the trolling motor, but it's been like a couple years. So I guess they're just not that good anymore, or they just need to be consistently topped up with an alternator to regain the life force.
You gotta wait till this thing's... Ooh. Don't.
It's just too much draw. Just was got a heavy draw on it. We're gonna keep trying.
I wonder if we unplug...
Maybe let it...
Here, let's unplug this. Now try. Maybe there's too much load on the compressor? Did you drain the oil?
Nope.
I think there's oil in it, but...
Elliot was like, did you drain the oil? I think there's oil in it. I'm pretty sure we didn't drain the oil, but we also
I didn't drain it, so...
We didn't check it, so we just... Real quick, we're just gonna check that. It's got pretty low idle.
Yeah.
Yeah, definite lifter tick.
Yeah. This side.
Oh, put that,
Oh, that pulley's gonna come off.
huh?
The pulley's gonna come off. Or not the pulley, the belt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that belt's not riding true. We're gonna have to address that. But I do want to see it kick on. Can you just throw that fuse in? Yeah. Keep it on. Oh, that was the compressor shut off. What's it at?
136.
136?
So 140.
Yeah. That compressor is amazing. It's amazing.
It worked out. We just gotta fix the alignment and then we'll be good.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. We'll have to fix the alignment of this. See, it's like the belt's kind of doing that, so it's shooting off of this like that. I can see that this is on a slight angle, so we're gonna have to fix that bracket. But so far, this fire up is going pretty good. That lifter tick is getting a little bit quieter. Well, got the new calipers. They look right. Ooh, they come painted. I like that. The ones I got last time weren't painted. Maybe that's the extra couple bucks. I'm gonna change the rear brakes and then maybe do a little cleanup. Gonna just keep on going. Once all those little things are done, I'm gonna throw the wheels on it and we'll have a look at it sitting on the ground as a full running, driving chassis. underneath here, I can pop the master cylinder, which still has a little bit of fluid in it. Hopefully we didn't pick up an air bubble while it was tipped up. Filling fluid. Wow. Hopefully have more fluid than this. I didn't look very hard.
Unless we want to take the vacuum.
Oh, another full jug. Okay, give her some little bit of suck. Turn up the suck. I mean, you must be taking some because I'm losing lots of fluid. We will do that on the other one. We'll do all 4 corners like that, and then we'll give it the full pumpy pump. We did bleed, or not bleed, but we vacuum bled the front as well. Pumping. So I'm just gonna try and build some pressure here. Pedal doesn't really want to return that well. I mean, because it has no pressure, but. You say the bleeder's leaking?
Yeah.
Oh, holy. Like it's still leaking?
Yeah, I've got it cranked.
The bleeder screw on that one side is just like pretty tough to seal, so he's having trouble cranking on it. We'll maybe get the socket on it.
Just do me a favor, just press on the pedal and...
Oh, so, hey, hold on. I've been holding it down because I didn't hear you say that you're...
Yeah, it's close. Give me a pedal and...
Pedal feels so nice right now. Okay, can I fire it up? Firing. Wonderful. I think that's just great. Last night went pretty well. We actually got a little bit more work done. I didn't film it. It was late. I didn't have enough brain cells to like do stuff and film it. So I'm gonna show you guys what we ended up fixing. So yes, brakes are totally done. We have perfect pedal. Like I was just talking about, we do have to trim this little spot here to clear this longer pitman arm, so it does actually bind against that. One thing I did as well is, if you remember when I made this shifter out of a column shift, how it used to have the weight of the shifter, you know, holding it into its detents, and because I turned it in a weird way, basically what I'm trying to say is that I made like a little spring-loaded arm that just pushes on it so that it stays in its detent, and it actually feels really good. So I don't know, we're gonna see if that works. What else did we mess around with? We also messed around with the air compressor, the bracket itself. It has slotted holes and it just was not in its slots, so that's why it jumped out of its belt groove. So now it rides in the belt groove, it sits nice, that's all good. She runs, it's going back together. Next video will be like finishing it and taking it for a drive and calling it good, hopefully. So thanks a lot for watching. Make It Kustom, everybody. Thank you to our sponsors, Fast Cut, CNC, and KBC Tools. If you want anything from KBC Tools, use the Make It Kustom discount code, all capital letters, all one word. And yeah, check out the merch store, japanscustoms.com. We're on Patreon. And thanks for watching and following the ramp truck build. We'll catch you on the next one. Later.